Okay, this video is about solving equations. And you know what? You've been solving equations since you were probably in first grade. Okay, they will give you a problem like this. They will say 3 plus a number should give you 5. And then 3 plus one number will give you 5. And normally you would say, okay, that number will be 2. Now, once you're in high school, the same problem will be 3 plus any letter, and that letter means any number, is equal to 5. So in algebra, a letter means any number. So x could be 10, could be 5, could be negative 100, could be anyone. There's only one number that will make this true. Okay, 3 plus one number will give you 5, and then you know the answer being 2. X is 2 because 3 plus 2 will give you 5. Now, this is a very simple problem. Problems like these tend to be more complicated. Okay, so we have to develop a system to solve these type of equations. Okay, the system is the following. Follow the 4 steps to solve equations. Number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, and decimals, and you do that by multiplying. Step number 2, combine like terms, and you add or subtract. That's what you do. Separate variables and constants, and do that by adding or subtracting. And last step, number 4, give variable by itself, and you divide. Okay, so I'm telling you what you need to do and how to do it. So problem number, first example I have for you. First thing you should do is put a line here. Put a line where the equal is. Now follow the steps that I gave you. Step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, and decimals. And if you have any of them, you should be multiplying. Do we have any parentheses, fractions, or decimals? We have none. So in this particular problem, number 1 is not necessary. Number 2 is combine like terms. And when you combine like terms, you look at only left side and the right side. So on the left side, can I combine these two? Okay, the keyword is like, similar. This number and this number, they're not alike. They're very different. One is a number and one has a letter. So these two cannot be combined because they're different. On the right hand side, can I combine anything? Well, in order to combine, you need two or more, and you only have one number, so this can be combined. Because it's by itself, these can be combined because they're different. So I'm done with step number 2. Number 3, separate variable and constants. Variable means letters. So look at the problem they gave you. Where's the letter? The letter is right here, so these will be variable. And on the other side is constant. So on the left side, I would like to have variable. Variable means the letter. Do both of these have a letter? Who doesn't have a letter? He has no letter, so get rid of it. Now to get rid, I must do plus or minus. You do the opposite. What is the opposite of -4? That'll be +4. Now mathematics says whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do it to the other side. +4. Now these two are opposites. +4 and -4 are opposites. They cancel. So all you have is -7n is equal to -81 plus 4. That'll give you -77. Variables on the left, that means the letters. This is a letter. Constant means numbers only. That is the number only. Last step, get the letter by itself, and you should be dividing. And the way you divide is divide by the number you're trying to get rid of. I'm trying to get rid of -7. And when you do to one side, you must do it to the other. These will cancel, so you have n is equal to 77 divided by 7 will give you 11, and a negative divided by negative will give you a positive number. So in this case, the answer would be 11. So this problem is a little bit more complicated to find out what the letter is, but the way you do it is you do it with the steps that I gave you. Okay, second example is example number 2, and that will be the following. Put the line where the equal is. Now, step number 1 is eliminate parentheses, fractions, and decimals, and you do it by multiplying. Look at the problem. Do you see any parentheses, fractions, or decimals? Okay. What I see is I see a parenthesis. Now, according to the step that I gave you, you should be multiplying. The way you multiply is 17 inside the parentheses should be multiplied by negative 8. Negative 8 times n will give you negative 8n. Negative 8 multiplied by 7 will give you negative 56. There's no parentheses in here, so these will stay the same. That will not change. Now I have no more parentheses, fractions, decimals, so I'm done with that step. I'm done with step number 1. Now number 2, combine like terms. If you look at the left side, can you combine these two? No, you cannot combine them because this number and this number are different. They're not alike. So can I combine them? Right hand side, can I combine this? And the answer is no, because it's by itself. So step number 2, there was no need for it. I'm done with that. Number 2, separate variables and constants. Variable means letters. Ask yourself, where is the letter? The letter is right here, so I'm going to put variable right here. I'm going to abbreviate it, var, variable, and then constant over here. So variable means letter. Do both of these have a letter? Who has no letter? Negative 56, get rid of it. Are you going to do plus or minus 56? If you do the opposite negative 56 will be positive 56. And when you do to one side, you must do it to the other side. Now, these will cancel because they're opposites. So you have negative 8n left on the left. The right side is negative 200 plus 56. 0 minus 6, you can't do that. So borrow from the 2. The 2 becomes a 1. And this was a 10, but now it becomes a 9. And this will be a 10. 10 minus 6 will be 4. 9 minus 5 will be 4. And 1. So the answer is negative 144. Variables on the left, that's a variable, that's a letter. Constant on the right, numbers only, that's the number. So I'm done with step number 3. Number 4, get variable by itself and you should divide. If I want the letter by itself, I should divide by what number? Divide by the number you're trying to get rid of, divide by negative 8. And when you do to one side, you do it to the other. Now, negative 8 divided by negative 8 is 1, and 1 times n is just n is equal to what is negative 144 minus 8. That number is too big. I probably have to use a calculator for that. So I'm going to do negative 144 minus 8. 144 negative minus divide by negative 8. So the answer should be 18. A negative divided by negative will give a positive, and the answer will be positive 18. I got the letter by itself. So that's the answer. Okay, now last example I have for you. Now it has a fraction. So those steps that I show you, begin by putting a line where the equal is. And the reason why I do that is because this is the left side and this is the right side. That's where the one side begins and the other ends. Okay? So step number 1, eliminate parentheses, fractions, or decimals. Do you see any? Okay? I see a fraction. So according what I gave you is you should be multiplying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the fraction. You multiply by the number in the bottom by 4. Now when you do to one of them, you must do to all of them. These should be 4. And these should be multiplied by 4. 4 times negative 6 will give you negative 24. Plus, if that's a fraction, make this a fraction. Now, can I cancel anything? I can cancel the 4s. You have p over 1. What is p divided by 1? The answer is p. Is equal to negative 5 times 4 will give you negative 20. Now, if you notice, there's no more fractions, so I'm done with step number 1. Number 2 is combine like terms, and you do the by-end subtraction. Okay, on the left side, the left only, can I combine these two? The answer is no, cannot be combined because they're not alike, they're different. Right side, can I combine this? The answer is no because it's by itself. So number 2, I couldn't combine anything. Step number 3, separate variables and constants. Variable means letter. So ask yourself, where is the letter? Letters on the left side, so on the left I'm going to put in variable, abbreviated with bar, variable, and on the right hand side I want a constant, abbreviated. So on the left I need variables, I need a letter. To both of these have a letter. Negative 24 has no letter, so get rid of 24. You do the opposite. The opposite of negative 24 is positive 24, and what you do to one side, what you do to the right, you must do it to the right. So what you do to the left, you must do it to the right. So these should be 24. These are opposites, they cancel. So you have p is equal to 4. Now the letter is by itself, that's it, and then I don't have to follow the rest of the steps. Okay? So if you notice, the steps are the same, no matter if it's regular numbers, if it has parentheses, if it's a fraction, even if it's decimal, is the same way. Okay? Work on the assignment, and then in about halfway through the period, I'll answer any questions using Zoom. Okay? Thank you.